Today on Discover Wisconsin, curd is the word, and a curd crawl is the task at hand. This episode of Discover Wisconsin, America's Dairyland is brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
Here in Wisconsin, we know a thing or two about cheese curds, so Mariah and I are on the hunt for the cheesiest, tastiest, golden fried morsels across the state. One of the main reasons people come to the Dane County Farmers Market is for the fresh cheese curds. That's why I'm here. Cheesemakers Tony and Julie Hook have been coming to the Dane County Farmers Market for 25 years and typically sell out of the 200 pounds of cheese curds they bring every week.
It's something Wisconsinites really love. They squeak on your teeth. Everybody has to try. If they're not from Wisconsin, they'll come in. People tell me I got to try the curd. Why is that? You know, it's so fresh it squeaks.
Curds are made fresh weekly and sometimes daily by cheesemakers throughout Wisconsin, using quality milk from our hardworking dairy farmers. During the cheese-making process, rennet, a coagulant, is added to the milk along with the specific cultures needed for that specific type of cheese. The milk coagulates, forming a soft curd. The curd is then cut into tiny square pieces about an inch in size to separate the curds from the whey. The curd is then pushed to the side and cut into mats, which are turned several times until they flatten out. Then the mats are put through a curd mill. Salt is stirred in to enhance flavor, and those young curds are bagged and sold to hungry customers. At Arena Cheese, they make their fresh cheese curds daily. The squeaky fresh curds are taken directly from the vat before being pressed into solid form. So Bill, these are fresh, super fresh cheese curds. We watched them being made. Obviously, they squeak awesomely when you bite into them. What gives cheese curds the squeak?
The squeak really comes from the freshness. It still has the air in it. It hasn't been pressed and it's so fresh. The squeak will last only for a few days. And that's what makes it unique to Wisconsin, is that it doesn't travel that well.
So that's the simple answer. Now here's the science behind it. Fresh cheese right out of the vat is low in acid and has a higher pH. When your teeth exert pressure to bite through the cheese curd, it causes friction against the cheese protein structure, and the cheese squeaks when your teeth sink into the curd. What makes curds unique?
It's unlike anything else because it's really not a cheese flavor yet. The culture develops the flavor. The cheese is so fresh, the culture hasn't had time to develop a cheese flavor. It's a mouthfeel. It feels good in the mouth, and it gives you the sensation of that feel on your tongue, on your teeth. It gives you a good feeling, and I always say a good squeaky curd makes you happy.
It does indeed. To maintain that signature squeak, keep the curds at room temperature and eat them within a day or two. The longer they sit, the more the proteins break down and lose their structure, and with that beloved sensation. When did the curd really become a standalone product people were buying?
I would say in the 80s is probably when it really started becoming popular, but really progressed into the 90s. What people found was to get it into the consumer's hands and get it to them in the bags and make it a snack became a very important part of the business.
Want more Wisconsin cheese? Stream our cheesiest episodes anytime, anywhere. Just look for the America's Dairyland playlist. Now that we know how they squeak, it's time to start tasting. Next, Mariah and I are discovering where the best curds are served up hot and tasty. Stay with us. Welcome back to America's Dairyland, where we're checking out one of Wisconsin's iconic foods, the cheese curd. Whether you like your cheese curds straight from the factory or hot out of the fryer, it seems like everyone has an opinion on where to get the best cheese curds here in Wisconsin. USA Today asked people to rate the best curds in Wisconsin, and the top-rated choice was Madison's very own icon, the old-fashioned.
Well, you know, I'm competitive, so it's a big gold medal, right? We're not a chain, we're just a tiny little spot in Madison, and it is the one thing on our menu that people talk about all the time. You know, I have friends that live in other states, and they're like, I dream about your cheese curd. I can't wait to get back and have that. It's a huge honor.
And to celebrate the well-deserved win, the Old Fashioned threw a curd party and invited their loyal patrons to enjoy some award-winning curds.
We're doing a small portion of curd for $1, just to give people a special treat and have them celebrate with us. It's 5 basic ingredients, but I think there's one ingredient in that gives it its extra crunch. It's what I added to it. I like my cheese curds crunchy. Our philosophy is to make everything from scratch, so we're not buying any of our food frozen. I think a lot of times people don't understand what a fresh curd is, so once they do have it, there's no going back. This is a true Wisconsin style.
Second place went to another staple of Wisconsin's capital city, Curd Girl Food Cart, which brings fried curd happiness to people all over the Madison area. Well, Jess, first of all, congratulations on winning second place in USA Today's poll for the best fried cheese curds in Wisconsin.
Thank you. It's
I
very
voted
exciting.
for you multiple times.
Awesome. We appreciate that.
What sets your curds apart?
Well, we've been perfecting a recipe for quite some time. This is the only thing we do, cheese curds, so they have to be good, right?
It is your specialty. Yeah, if they're not awesome, you're not in business.
What are we doing?
The cart may be small, but the cheese curds are mighty, using locally sourced curds from Cray Brothers Farmstead Cheese. Find out where you can get some of Curd Girl's cheesy goodness by following them on Facebook and Twitter.
I've had them before, and they are delicious, Eric. But another place garnering a top 10 spot in the poll is the Pioneer Keg in Theresa, Wisconsin.
We're rated in the top 10 for cheese curds in Wisconsin, number 2 for southeastern Wisconsin. Being from a small town of 1,200, that's a really big deal. I think the fact that we use brick cheese, it just makes it more creamier, got that nice salty taste. It's that perfect pub tavern cheese curd that goes well with Wisconsin craft beer.
Pioneer Keg gets its cheese locally from Widmer's Cheese Cellars, and chances are you may run into the master cheesemaker himself at this popular hotspot.
Do you ever get sick of having your own cheese curds, by the way?
Oh, no, I never get sick of cheese. That's
No?
one thing, yeah.
You're in the right industry then.
That's right.
I don't either. We have that in common. All right, I'm going for it. I'm really a big fan of the breading on these cheese curds. I'm very picky about my fried curds, I will admit that. It's like light and crunchy, and the breading doesn't overwhelm the cheese curd, which I like. You can taste the cheese curd in there.
Jim's got a really good recipe for the curd. That's what makes them iconic, and that's what makes them famous in his town.
What do we have in the middle of the cheese curd here?
Oh, that's brick cheese. Brick is a Wisconsin original, invented in Wisconsin in the 1870s by a Swiss immigrant in this county, only 20 minutes down the road. And my grandfather started making brick cheese in 1922. And we're in our 4th generation now. And we've been making brick for almost 100 years. Our product is so traditional and authentic, we're still using the bricks my grandfather used in 1922.
Really? Oh, so it really does come down to the shape of it.
Shape and how you press it, yes.
And when he says down the road, he's not kidding. The factory is literally a stone's throw from the restaurant, just a short walk away. Perhaps that's why they're so fresh, delicious, and popular.
We're known for our cheese curds. People come here for that automatically. We do serve cheddar curds, but the brick are what we sell the most of, and brick are what the people come here for, because it's something different that nobody else offers.
An honorable mention for the most iconic dipping sauce would have to go to the Waterfront Restaurant and Tavern in La Crosse.
Our dipping sauce is a little bit unique as opposed to having traditional buttermilk ranch. We use something we call a bloody aioli based on a Bloody Mary. So we have pickle juice, tomato paste, mayonnaise based. So it gives a little bit more of a zing and a little bit more flavor going into the actual cheese curd as well. If the curds were removed from the menu, I think we would have a lot of disgruntled customers, a lot of unhappy clientele, so to speak. They have been a part of this restaurant since its inception. In fact, when I actually came on board, I was told 2 things that could never change. 1, the quality of the beef we serve, and number 2, I have to have cheese curds regardless.
A favorite staple on the menu, it doesn't get more Wisconsin than cheese curds and Bloody Marys. Head to discoverwisconsin.com and download a free itinerary to help plan your very own Wisconsin cheese curd crawl. Coming up next, Eric and his friends embark on a curd crawl in Milwaukee, and some of the curds they discovered may surprise you.
Welcome back to America's Dairyland, where we're headed out on a cheese curd crawl. Wisconsinites are fortunate to be surrounded by so many local creameries that make award-winning cheese. And since cheese curds are a part of that process and culture, it makes sense that we would celebrate all the places that serve them piping hot. Accompanied by tasty dipping sauces, of course. Organized cheese curd crawls are becoming increasingly popular. UW-Madison student organization She's the First holds one every year to raise money to support girls' education in low-income countries.
One day, one of our members was like, "She's the first." So it's literally just a pun off of our organization. And we have sold over 800 tickets 2 years in a row. It's an excuse to eat cheese curds. Everyone else is eating cheese curds, so you can't feel bad about it. Everyone wins and gets to eat cheese, which is all you can really ask for. And it's going to a great cause.
But truly, enjoying Wisconsin cheese curds is always a good cause. So I reached out to a few friends to join me for a tasty excursion in Milwaukee. First stop, the Iron Horse Hotel, where a light tempura battered curd was served up. I'm grabbing this one. Y'all dig in.
These are good.
I like the batter.
Can't find curds like these in Illinois.
No, welcome to Wisconsin.
Thank you.
That ranch they make fresh here every day.
Really?
And the cheese curds, the cheese is made at Clock Shadow, which is blocks away.
We tallied our scores and then moved on to the next destination, the Black Sheep Wine Bar in Walker's Point, for pancake battered curds served with, get this, maple syrup.
Thank you.
Nice, thanks.
Oh, so good.
All right, remember, pancake batter on the outside, maple syrup
that is
here.
syrup right there?
That is maple syrup.
Okay.
Ooh, mine was a doubler.
That's like salty and sweet together.
That's really good.
I had my doubts about dipping in syrup, but these are really good.
They are.
That cheese is so creamy.
And you gotta remember, these are the same curds.
Wow.
There was Clock Shadow at the other one, it's Clock Shadow here, but they're prepared differently, they're breaded differently, so they're just a little different.
I'm not a big fan of sweet food, I'm more savory, but this hit the spot.
And the next location hit the spot in a very different way. 42 Ale House specializes in gluten-free offerings, and cheese curd connoisseurs won't be disappointed.
Oh, that looks good. Chipotle Ranch, let's dig in.
Nice and cubed.
Salty?
That is squeak.
It
I got a
is
squeak. I
squeaking.
got a squeak.
It is squeaking.
I got a squeak.
And there is no bread. This is not breading.
Super light.
If I remember right, this is a Brazilian cheese. They just cube it and throw it right in the oil.
Wow.
This is Clock Shadow Creamery too?
It is from Clock Shadow Creamery, but it's a different type of cheese. And they're still squeaky, so.
I know.
Sauce-wise, I do like it the best.
Yeah. Very good sauce. That's super good taste.
Yeah, I'm ready to throw some big numbers down on this one.
Yeah.
It's surprising how much cheese can have its own personality as far as cheese curds go.
Well, it's hard to argue with that statement. All of our curds were pleasantly surprising, but that's not unexpected when they're made from award-winning Wisconsin cheese. Head to discoverwisconsin.com to see behind-the-scenes photos of the crew. And up next...
Whew, I'm almost full. Well, we know there's a lot of great fried cheese curd options here in Milwaukee. Coming up, we're going to see what options Mariah has for us over in Madison.
We're back in America's Dairyland, crawling the state for fried cheese curds. Well, Eric certainly had a mouthful in Milwaukee, but here in Madison, we take our curds just as seriously. The first stop on my curd crawl is Gray's Madison. The curds are sourced locally from Hook's Cheese in Mineral Point and fried in a vodka tempura batter for a little extra punch.
Enjoy.
Oh, thank you. That looks good. All right, so Gray's take on the fried cheese curd with some buttermilk ranch, it looks like. I'm going for the big one. Ooh, Brenda, that's your strategy. Break it apart first, dip it in. You do have to have a cheese curd strategy, I feel like. Ooh. Good. It's definitely a very flavorful cheese curd. Man, this is our first one, so I feel like we're setting the bar here with what we put down.
I know.
And I'm kind of a cheater, so I have to see. Oh, you're doing 10 for stretch, you said. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I can be good with that. What about breading? This is interesting breading.
Pretty light.
Yeah,
It is.
and kind of crunchy.
So we finished our analysis of Graze's curds and headed to our next destination, Craftsman Table and Tap, which uses curds from Carr Valley cheese and serves them up in style.
Thank you. Looks good. Ooh, digging right in. I like it. Okay, breading. I really like the breading.
Yeah, I think it was just
agree.
enough. I think it was just enough. So
how-
I'm gonna do a 9.
9? I'm feeling good with a 9 too. All right, color. I like these ones. It's light. It's
Yeah,
more
it is. Like it's
classic,
so breaded, yeah.
classic cheese curd
Yeah, it
color.
Taste. Yeah.
I'm gonna do 9.5.
You and your 0.5.
Yeah, I just like to be very precise.
Okay, so our scores aren't exactly scientifically precise. Luckily, the attention to detail at our next location is. Welcome to Buck and Honey's in Monona.
Look at the cheese on top. Dig in? Yes?
Bring them a little closer.
Okay.
Stretch test.
The look, color is getting a 10 for me. I am very about the look.
Yeah.
I like that Brenda just digs right in immediately. No thought whatsoever.
That's good.
I already gave a 10 for color.
I did 9.
What do you think about the breading? It's more breaded. Yeah, it's not like a light kind of casing like the first you had.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I love this. Is very, very good. I'm really a big fan of this one.
So there you have it. A curd crawl that embraces the greatness of Wisconsin cheese. So the next time you're hitting the town with friends, bring your appetite and a score sheet and throw in an order of delicious fried cheese curds. But the best part is no matter where you are in the state, whether it's fresh or fried cheese curds, you know they're made with Wisconsin pride and passion. This episode of Discover Wisconsin, America's Dairyland is brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Stream Discover Wisconsin anywhere, anytime. Continue the adventure on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, Smart TV, Chromecast, and discoverwisconsin.com.